then? Okay. Vinica, fantastic. My wife is from Vinica. I love the city. Great. Okay. And what has everyone been doing this morning? Have you been teaching already this morning? So I'm sure every 2 lessons already. Wow. So yeah, it sounds like everyone's had a busy morning already. Well, I really appreciate that you're joining me for this webinar. I know how busy you must all be. So some of you checking tests, checking work. Okay. So what I'd like to do first today, before we begin, is just to introduce myself. So I might be new to some of you. My name is Sam. I'm a methodologist with Internal Education and also an English teacher at the London School of English. So I've been an English teacher for almost 9 years now, and I've been living and working in Kiev for about 2 years. Before I moved to Kiev, I was an English teacher in Budapest, in Hungary. Okay. Maybe some of you have been to my seminars in Kiev, or I think it was Zhytomyr. If you have, please say hello in the chat box. Okay. Hello. Great. Yeah. So some more people from Kiev. Fantastic. Okay, just a reminder that after the webinar today, yeah, we will be sending out certificates. Yeah, we really appreciate you all joining us. As I said, I know how busy you must be, so you will all be getting certificates. They'll be sent out within about a week. Okay. Good. So please keep telling me where you're from. It's great to hear. You know, we're all stuck at home at the moment, so it's nice to have some interaction with everyone. Kharkiv, great. What's the weather like in Kharkiv? Okay, in Lviv. Hello in Lviv. Okay, good. Some more people in Kiev. Yeah, I'm in the Obolon kind of district. Poltava, fantastic. It's great. It's great to see people from all over the country joining us. Okay, fantastic. And can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, good. So my moderator today is Lena. So she will be helping me. If there are any technical issues, she will be able to help you with those. Okay? Great. Okay, thank you. Just to let you know as well that the videos that I will be using for the webinar today are from Gold Experience. Do any of you use this title at the moment? No? Okay. So not yet. Well, I can tell you that this is a fantastic title. The reason I like it is because of the way it combines general English and exam preparation. Okay, but we're going to talk more about that a bit later. Okay, and also remember, at the end of today's webinar, 20 of you will be lucky enough to win one of these books. Okay, so there will be a lottery at the end. So we'll just wait a few more minutes just for everyone to join us. Okay, so it's almost the weekend as well. Do people have, any plans for the weekend? Maybe I know with my friends at the moment in England, we've been doing quizzes on Zoom, so it's making quarantine a bit easier. So Easter will be at home, obviously, but doing some cooking with my wife. Okay, some traditional Ukrainian food, hopefully. Fantastic. Good. So yeah, good morning. Great. It really is fantastic to see so many of you here. Okay, more people from Kiev. Great. Ludmila, hello. Vinitsa, again, great. Chernihiv, fantastic. Odessa, what's the weather like in Odessa at the moment? Okay, sunny. It's nice and sunny. Yeah, it's still cloudy here in Kiev. Okay. Good. So hello. Hello again. So have any of you been to my seminars before? Did any of you come to the webinar on Tuesday? Okay, good. So I'm glad that you've decided to come again. Okay, obviously everyone is welcome. It's great to see you here. So the first time, okay, good. Hopefully the first of many. Okay, so hopefully the connection will be better this time. Good. Hello, Svetlana. Okay, good. So again, more people from Kiev. Fantastic. Cherkasy. Okay. So I'm learning a lot about the geography of Ukraine from these webinars as well. Okay. So, as I said earlier, I might be new to some of you. Okay. So again, I'd like to start by introducing myself to you all. So my name is Sam. Yeah, Sam McKean. So I am English, but you might notice that I actually have a Scottish family name, but I am English. I'm a methodologist with internal education and also an English language teacher at the London School of English. Okay, so I've been an English teacher for almost 9 years now, but I've been living and working in Kiev for almost 2 years. If any of you have been to my seminars in Kiev or in Zhytomyr, it'd be great if you can say hello in the chat box. Okay, it's great to see you here. So have any of you been to my seminars before? Hello, hello, good. Okay. So just a reminder that at the end of today's webinar, everyone will be getting a certificate for attending. Okay, so they'll be sent out within a week. Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us for the webinar. I know how busy you must all be. So yeah, it's great that you've decided to join us today. Also, the videos that I'll be using for today's webinar are all from Gold Experience. Okay, so how many of you are using this title? Okay, so great. So I see some of you are using it. So I'm sure you know that it's a great title. The way it combines general English and exam preparation is fantastic. We will talk more about the title a bit later. Okay. And also, there will be a lottery at the end of today's webinar. So 20 of you will be lucky enough to win one of these books. So please stick around until the end of the webinar. Okay, so as you know, the topic of today's webinar is building speaking exam confidence through video-based activities. So I would like to start the webinar with a question for you. So what receptive skill do students develop by watching videos in English? So what do you think? Fantastic. Lots of correct answers immediately. So yes, we develop our students' listening skills. We know that videos are a great way to add a different dimension to listening practice. But how can we use videos to develop our students' speaking skills? Particularly the speaking skills that they will need for the different speaking tasks in exams they will need to take. Well, in today's webinar, we will be learning a number of practical video-based activities that you can use with your students to develop the speaking skills they will need to pass these different speaking tasks. Okay? So, video-based activities are a great way to kickstart any lesson. Okay? They immediately engage our students and grab their attention. So I'm going to start today's webinar with a video, okay? And the video-based activity that I will be starting with is silent viewing. So I would like you to watch the video without sound and answer these questions. So, how old do you think the boy is? What country do you think he lives in? And what is he planning to do? Okay, so save your answers for after the video. Okay, so let's watch together. Remember, there's no sound. Okay, so what do you think? Let's look at the questions. So question 1, how old do you think he is? 15, 16, 17. Okay, so 16, around this age. And why do we think that? Is it because of his school uniform? Yeah, maybe because of his appearance. Right, question 2, what do you think? What country do you think he lives in? Australia, interesting. So the UK, England, okay, England, Norway. Okay, so a few different answers there. And what is he planning to do? What do we think? So sailing, yeah, so maybe to take up a new hobby, travel, okay. Okay, so a few different ideas. So now we're going to watch the video again, but this time with sound. So you can check your answers. Again, save your answers until after the video. Okay, so are you ready? So let's watch it again, but this time with sound. Okay, so the video is just loading. Okay, don't worry, it's just taking a bit of time to load. Okay, so don't worry, it's a small technical issue. We'll try again. So hopefully it will work this time. Okay. So no video, no sound. Yeah, there's a slight technical issue with this video. Okay, let's see if we can get it to work. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the video is not working this time. Okay. Well, what we can do is we'll go through the answers and I can tell you if you were correct. Okay, so the first question, how old do you think he is? We said about 16. You were correct. So he is 16. So if you said that, you were correct. What country does he live in? Well, from the video, you would have heard his accent. He has a very English accent, like me. Okay, so he lives in England. And what is he planning to do? So you have a few different answers. Yeah, maybe a holiday. Well, the correct answer is actually that this boy, his name is Mike, is planning to go sailing around the world. Okay, so he's planning to go sailing around the world. Okay, so small issue, but carry on. So, what skills do the students develop by watching the video without sound and making guesses about its content? So, what do you think? So, yes, prediction and speculation skills. So, speculation, like these guessing. And what kind of speaking exam task does this prepare our students for? Is it discussions, role plays, or describing pictures? What do we think? 1, 2, or 3? Great. I can see a lot with the correct answer. So it is describing pictures. So this task that we have in the Pearson Test English, the FCE, and CAE. Okay, so my students love this activity, yeah, and I like using this activity with them. It's great because it really develops their critical thinking skills. Okay, it's important to remember that for this task in the exam, they need to do more than just describe the pictures. They need to really speculate about the different aspects of it. Okay, this task, when it works, is great at developing these speculation skills. Okay, so we speculated on his nationality, on his age, and his future plans. Okay, what other aspects of the characters could we speculate on? Okay, what other aspects could we speculate on? Any ideas? What do we think? Excellent. So his school life, does he enjoy school? Okay. What do we think? His friends, yeah, is he popular? So lots of different ideas. His relationships, great. Well, my ideas were maybe his personality, job, hobbies, like you said, the relationships between the students. We can also get the students to speculate on the relationships between the characters and maybe what are they saying to each other. Okay, so as we know, as with any task, we can adapt it. So you know what your students enjoy. Okay, so personally, my students love team games. So I love to make this into a team game. I put the students in groups and they need to discuss their ideas before they choose one answer. So we're kind of developing these soft skills, the communication skills. Also, we can provide the students with some functional at some point. So this is phrases. It looks as though he's. I get the impression of that. Okay. More about this a bit later. And also with videos, it's important to remember that we pause the video and get our students to speculate about the image on the screen at any moment. Okay. With a book, we're limited to 5 or 6 images on one page. But with one video, there are potentially hundreds of images that we can get our students to speculate on. So, how else can we develop our students' prediction skills? Well, another I really like to use with my students is what happens next. So I'm sure some of you use this with your students. But yeah, I'm going to show you how I do it. And we're going to watch the video together now. So hopefully this video will work. Let's try. So I'd like you to watch the video and answer the question. What disaster happens next? Okay, so predict what disaster happens next. Remember, save your answers until after the video. So save your answers until after the video. Okay. Okay, one moment.
As the weeks pass, Mike manages the boat well. He navigates thousands of kilometers successfully through the ocean.
Wow. It's getting much colder. So I've got the soup out.
In the Pacific Ocean, disaster strikes.
Hooray! So, what do you think? What disaster happens next? Okay. So, 1, there's a hurricane. 2, there's a technical. Or 3, Mike's girlfriend is with him over Skype. Okay. So, what do we think? We've got lots of 1s. Okay. Some 2s. Some 3s. Some of you are worried about Mike's love life. Okay, so lots of 1s and 2s. Watch and find out what happens next. So were you correct?
A rope gets tangled in the rudders, and Mike has no way to steer the boat.
It cut off my steering and I couldn't use the rudders.
Mike has to deal with the problem on his own.
Okay, so were we correct? Yeah. So the correct answer? Yes. the technical boat. The rope had got caught around the rudder. That's something for steering the boat. Okay. Fantastic. So one more together. This time, an important question. Do you think Mike is going to complete his journey? Okay. It's an important question. Yes or no. So let's wait, save your answers until after. Okay. So let's.
Mike has to fight to keep going.
Really felt down in the dumps. Really felt down in the dumps. It is hard, and that's why not many people do it. But I will do it. I will get around.
Okay. So what do we think? Do we think Mike is going to complete his journey or no? So yes, we've got lots of very optimistic people. A few no's, a few pessimists, maybe, or risks, possibly. I guess is okay. Well, I'm sure you're waiting to find out what happens next. So let's watch and see if you were correct.
Mike returns a hero. He takes the world record for the youngest person to circumnavigate the world. After such an achievement, can he ever be an ordinary schoolboy again?
Good. So it's good news. Yeah. Were we correct? Yes. Mike, yeah, successfully around. Excellent. If you look at the picture in the background, actually where I live in England. So I come from a small island between England and France, and if you look there, that's actually where I'm from. Okay. As I said, my students love this activity. So my primary, secondary, and adult students all love it. They're on the edge of their seat, waiting to find out what happens next. So they're really engaged. I also love this activity because it's really easy to prepare. Okay? All I need to do before the lesson is to watch the video and decide where the key moments are, where I can pause it to ask my students what happens next. Okay? With this, it's really important to remember students. So always ask them why. If they don't do this in task, then they won't do very well. So I told you my students love team games. Team game groups. The group whose answer is closest to reality gets a point. Okay? It's competitive. So for both of these tasks, we could pick this. Just video. Which by developing these critical skills, we need to make observations in this. This is how we enable our students to get those grades. How many of you know? So, how many of you video-based? So, for example, great way to fashion the lessons a bit more, okay? They're engaging, stepping that provide a realistic context for discussions and role plays. So it's just a lot easier for the students. And as some of you have mentioned in the chat box, we know that teenagers love technology, they love videos. So as soon as we start using video-based activities, our students, sit up and they're a lot more engaged. I know all my students are using TikTok at the moment. They're always asking me if I'm using TikTok. Okay, I'm not using TikTok. But this is a way that we can adapt these activities. We can ask the students to make their own videos. Okay? They can make their own videos for a silent viewing task or for a what happens next task. And then they can use these with each other. And that saves us finding a video. So as I mentioned, it really helps engage these critical things a lot more deeply. So another task that we need to prepare our students for in the speaking exams is monologues. Please tell me, which of these exams features a monologue task? Is it IELTS, Pearson Test of English, FCE and CA, or all of the above? Fantastic. Yeah, it was almost a trick question. It is all of the above. So all of these exams feature a monologue task. That's why we really ensure that our students are well prepared for it. However, there's a common problem that I used to have when I was getting my students ready for monologues. It is that even students with very strong language skills struggle to think of enough things to say on a particular topic. So they have language skills, but they can't think of what to say. So how can we solve this problem with videos? Well, by showing our students a video on a relevant topic before monologue preparation, we engage our students with it, and we also help them generate more ideas. Another problem with preparing our students for monologues is that monologues aren't very communicative. There's no interaction. Well, there is one way around that, and that's with an activity that I love called Longer and Longer. Okay? And this is collaborative monologue preparation. So, first, we show students a video. we take a topic from the video. For example, the video with Mike, yeah, the sailor boy. So the topic could be travel. We then put the students in pairs and give them a discussion question connected to the topic. For example, how important is it to visit other countries? The first student has to answer the question. Okay. Then the second student has to answer the same question, but they need to speak for longer than their partner. Also, you'll notice that the second student has borrowed some language from the first student. That's absolutely fine. We want to encourage our students to try and learn from each other. Yeah, to learn the phrase, like some more advanced phrases from each other, to develop a fantastic answer between them. Then the first student has the opportunity to answer the question again and speak for longer. So this continues, with the students trying to for longer and longer than each other until one student gives up, or they're not able to speak for longer. I've noticed in the chat box, it's a great way they're inspiring each other. Great. So after this, the students can then report back to the teacher, report back to the class, maybe what were the key points that they mentioned in their answers together. So we've discussed using this activity as a post-viewing activity. So after watching a video. However, you could also use this as a previewing stage. So we do the activity before watching the video to generate interest in the topic of the video. Okay, so another task in speaking exams we need to prepare us is role plays. Can you tell me which exams feature a role play task? Okay, so can you tell me in the chat box which exams feature a role play task? Fantastic, got the correct answer. So it is the Pearson test of English. Okay, but also the FCE and CAE have this decision-making task, which is kind of similar to a role play. They are given a situation, you make a decision together. These are a great way to reach the preparation for role plays. And one way we can do that is with a character role play. So we're going to look at the stages of developing your own character role play now. So first, we need to invent a situation featuring characters from the video. Okay, so obviously we do this before the lesson. This is preparation. So, for example, maybe a role play task that I've made for my students using the video we watched earlier, that involves a situation with Mike and Mike's mum. So Mike's mum wasn't in the video. So she's an imagined character connected to the video. So you can use a real video, or imagine is connected to those characters. We need to put students in pairs. We assign each student a character. Half of the class would be Mike, and half of the class would be Mike's mum. We then need to give the students a comprehension question about their character. Okay? And we ask them to make notes about their character. So, for example, in my array, I would ask the students who are Mike to watch the video and to write down reasons why teenagers should sail around the world. The students who are Mike's mum would need to watch the video and write down reasons why teenagers shouldn't sail around the world. Okay? So after they've watched the video and made notes on their character, we get them to role play the situation. So this is the situation that we have thought of. So for example, in my role play, Mike needs to persuade his mum to let him sail. And Mike's mum needs to persuade Mike not to sail around the world. Okay? Whenever we are creating our own role play task, it's important that both students have a goal. Okay? Something that they are working towards during the role play. Otherwise, the role falls apart. Okay? So they need to be focused on a goal. Then we report back how they persuade each other that they were correct. And then we can get the students to switch roles. So Mike and Mike's mum, they switch, and we do the role play again. Now, I have an important question for you. When would you give the student functional language input? So these are phrases for like giving, for example, phrases for giving and reacting to opinions. So can you tell me, at which stage would you give them this input? So before the role play, that's fine. We've got 5, so when they report back, 5, 4, okay. So lots of different ideas, they're fine. Personally, I think the best stage to give our students functional language input is after the students have done the role play once and before they repeat. Okay. So the reason why we do this is that the first time the students do the role play, maybe they find it difficult. They realize that they have some gaps in their knowledge. Okay. We can then fill these gaps. So we can give the students the functional language that they now realize they need. Because the students now realize they need this input, okay, they are much more likely to remember it, and they are much more likely to actually learn. Okay? That's why I think this is the best time to give them this input. But how can we give the students the functional language input? So we can, write it on the board. That's fine. We can ask them to read it in a book. Yeah. For example, Gold Experience has some great functional language sections. That's also fine. But the way I like to give it to my students is through a functional language checklist. So we give each student a checklist, okay, with the functional language, or you can use the functional language section in the book. While the students are doing the role play, they need to listen and tick off the phrases that their partner uses. Yeah. So they are actively trying to use this functional language and really listening to their partner as well. Okay. Another way to do it is with functional language cards. So we can get the students to write on the cards, or we can make them. So put the functional language on cards. When they use the language, they put it down. Okay. Or alternatively, you have the phrases on the table, and when students use them, they pick them up. The student who uses the most phrases is the winner. So they are really actively trying to use the language. Okay. So how many of you use role plays with your students? So yeah, I can see, yeah, Anna, use them with your students sometimes, yeah. Okay, so like I said, my students really like them. My primary students love role plays. My adult students enjoy them as well. Yeah, we have a good time with some of the role plays. My teenagers, they usually take a couple of minutes to warm up. Okay, you know, they're maybe a bit embarrassed at first, but after a couple of minutes, they aim just as much as the primary level students. So, as I said, videos are a great way to really enrich this role play preparation. Okay, I think it's particularly effective because students tend to enjoy role playing as a real person. I know my students really enjoy this. It gives the activity a level of authenticity, which makes it a lot more engaging for them. So, okay, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. So, as I said earlier, okay, all of the videos that I used today were from Gold Experience. So, a lot of courses, there are 8 levels. The video we used today is the B2 level. Okay, so this is great. It's like a pre-advanced level if you have a strong group and you're really trying to push them. So I hope that you've learned some really useful, practical video-based activities today that you can use with your students to help them pass their speaking exams. I'd love to know how it goes with your students, you know. So please, you can give me some feedback on Facebook, yeah, Dinternal's Facebook, or on Instagram as well. So please let me know how it goes. Okay. And yes, so now is the moment I'm sure you've all been waiting for. We're going to be giving away 20 of this fantastic book. So my moderator, Lena, will be helping me with this now. So Lena will be taking over. Yeah, while waiting as well, you can think of any questions you'd like to ask. So any questions at all about today's webinar, or any questions about me, it's fine. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So let's see who the lucky winners are. So using this random.org, okay, it will randomly give us the 20 winners. So you'll see the winners on the screen. And also we'll post the winners in the chat box. So we'll just wait for that now. Okay, so the first 20. So here are the winners. Congratulations. So the 20 who have won. So my moderator will now copy these into the chat, so you can see them in the chat box as well. So yes, congratulations. We'll be copying those for everyone now. Okay, great. So yeah, sorry if you didn't win this time, but there will be other opportunities to win in the future. Okay, so do any of you have any questions for me? Any questions? It's a good question. So Kiev compared to Budapest, well, they're both really interesting cities. I'm very happy here in Kiev. I love Ukrainian food. It's definitely better than Hungarian food, but don't tell any of my Hungarian students that. Yes, so I'm really enjoying living here. Any other questions? Okay, just a reminder as well that everyone will be getting a certificate for attending. Okay, I know how busy you all are at the moment, so we really appreciate you joining us for these webinars. Okay, I hope it was useful. I hope you learned a lot of useful kind of activities. You know, we're all in the same situation at the moment. We're all stuck at home, so it's really nice to have this interaction with you all. Thank you for all your comments in the chat box. Any more questions? Okay. So, but somebody asking about teaching grammar with videos. Well, that's actually something we can look at in a future webinar, definitely. Thank you for the idea. Okay. So, thank you again, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, I hope you all have a nice Easter. You know, try and relax. And hopefully I'll see you again in the future at my next webinar. Okay, so see you all later. My moderator will stay here and answer any more questions that you have. Okay, so see you later. Okay, goodbye.